the photo that reappeared in our trash. I didn't go looking. The photo came back like a bruise you thought had faded. I was clearing space on our shared iCloud, years of screenshots, duplicate sunsets, recipes we never cooked, when the recently deleted album flickered and repopulated itself with a single thumbnail. It was small and insolent, a corner of a hotel mirror, a slice of shoulder, the bright, indifferent flash of a bathroom selfie. The timestamp said 2 weeks ago. The location tag, because my wife never disables anything, said the Finch on Harbor. I almost closed the laptop. I almost gave myself the mercy of not tapping. Instead, because I am Daniel and I fix sounds for a living and cannot let a hum persist, I clicked. The full image arrived, unkind and careful. The mirror held more than a corner, enough to show Elena's face turned not toward the lens but toward a man behind her. He was only a reflection of a reflection, a gray jacket I didn't own, a jaw softened by light. Her mouth was caught mid-smile, the kind you aim at a joke you want to live inside. The flash washed the tile into something clinical. On the counter, 2 glasses of water, one lipstick-kissed, one not. The app offered the polite options: recover, delete, hide, as if vocabulary could fix this. My hand hovered, learned the contour of a decision, and did nothing. In the living room, the dishwasher purred like a witness rehearsing innocence. I closed the lid and sat in the world I had just received, a room in a hotel I hated by name alone. Elena texted from 3 blocks away. "Do you need anything? I'm stopping at the market." She adds softness to banalities like it pays her rent. She designs little stores that look like memory. She is good at making objects believe they were meant to be here. We were meant to be here once. "Limes," I typed, "and that weird salt." I added a heart I meant and turned the laptop to the quiet that looks like a shut machine. When she came home, the kitchen turned itself into our best behavior. She kissed me at the corner of my mouth the way she always does, with the accuracy of habit. I kissed back and made a sound I hoped meant yes and not measurement. We cooked. We salted. We ate on stools like polite strangers. I asked about her day. She asked about mine. At some point she laughed with her head thrown back, and the sound made the room forgive us again. If a photo lives in your pocket, is your mouth still yours? After she fell asleep, I reopened the album. Recently deleted had emptied itself as if ashamed. I went to the library and searched the Finch on Harbor. Nothing. I searched Harbor. Nothing. I searched nothing and scrolled like a man who refuses to accept that he knows how to scroll. The photo did not return. Elena talks in sleep the way cities hum, small, consistent, tender. That night she turned toward me and said, "Don't start without me," which could have been about anything and therefore was about everything. I lay awake and watched the ceiling absorb our heat. In the morning I went to the Finch. The lobby is a committed lie, teal velvet, gold fixtures, disdain. A clerk with a jaw too crisp for mornings asked if I needed assistance. "I tuned your bar last winter," I said, which was true. "The subwoofers fought the plaster. I settled them." He smiled the way people smile when they are deciding whether to remember you. "Always good to see our partners," he said, letting the last word do public relations for the lack of one. The elevator smelled like money trying to be citrus. I got off on 3 because the carpet told me to. At the end of the hall, a housekeeper's cart waited like a clue in a show that thinks it's clever. I stood in the scent of diluted bleach and thought about the worst questions. Was it here? Was it her? Was it a goodbye or a rehearsal? I took the stairs because the elevator made me feel like I might go to a floor I didn't pick. Outside, Harbor Street did its performance, couples with bags, a woman running and pretending she loves it, the gulls shameless. I called my friend Tim, who knows how to say cruel things kindly. "You're not the FBI," he said after I told him the photo and the mirror and my damaged silence. "Gather enough truth to make a choice, not a museum. What's enough? I said. Her, he said, in a room where you can live with whatever comes out of her mouth. Alina's studio is inside a building that used to make maps. She likes the joke. When I arrived that afternoon, she was alone, hands stained with graphite, hair gathered into a knot that always makes me think of the first month we didn't sleep. On her work table, a dozen tiny models of stores that don't exist yet, a small forest of cardboard and intent. You look like handmade trouble, she said, and lifted her cheek for my mouth. I kissed it and tasted pencil and something I've always mistaken for cinnamon. Walk, I asked. We chose the long route down to the ferry, a path that believes in benches. The water did its nonsense. I stopped near the railing and let the city pretend we were the only ones here. A photo reappeared in our trash, I said, from the Finch. I made my voice precise as if diction could prevent explosion. You weren't alone. She didn't flinch. She went still, which is worse. Then she put both hands on the rail and said, without theater, I tried to delete it. I failed. She turned. I didn't want you to find it. I also didn't want to hide it properly. I wanted the universe to decide whether you get the picture or I do. Who is he? I asked, because names are doors. A client, she said. Not like that sounds. He funds beautiful things and calls it rescue. His name is Rylan. He thinks the world is a room he can rearrange. He's not wrong often enough. And you, I said, what do you think the world is? A hallway, she said, with mirrors. We stood with the water arguing behind us and the gulls auditioning for comedy. Did you sleep with him? I asked, the way you ask a stagehand where the fuse box is during a blackout. No, she said. I wanted to want to. I wanted to stand inside wanting like it was weather. Then I took a photo so I would see my own face and not trust it. You looked happy, I said, hatting what that made me. I looked like a possibility, she said. I was practicing. Practicing what? Not being responsible for both of us all the time, she said, and the words were heavy and fair. Practicing desire without paperwork. I am not noble. I thought about the jaw in the mirror and the water glasses and the fact that I have not been a fuse lately, I have been a breaker. What do you want from me? I said. A verdict, a punishment, a better playlist for hotel bathrooms. She laughed once, a broken pretty sound, then stepped into me and placed her forehead to my cheek. I want you, she said, specifically. Now, I want you like I am not inventing anything by saying it. Her palm found my chest, the exact center, and pressed, and heat arrived with the arrogance of an old friend. I anchored my hands at her waist like I always have. We kissed not to erase, not to win, but because certain bodies answer questions better than nouns. The railing was cold through my shirt. Her mouth was warm with the fact of us. We stopped because this city is not ours entirely. We breathed. She laughed again, not broken this time. There, she said. I didn't start without you. We went home with the day still on us. Do you want me to call him? I asked in the kitchen, hushed as if our forks might overhear. Do you want him to breathe air that is not yours for a while? I already told him no, she said, sliding limes into a bowl like evidence of normal life. He said he respected it. He spelled respect correctly. I'm not convinced. In bed, we touched like people who know a roof needs weight to prove it's strong. She wore the t-shirt I bought in a town we pretended to love because we were together there. I slid it up an inch and then another, inch by specific inch, and the sound in her throat changed shape. Hear that enough times and it becomes a religion. We were careful because the day had teeth. We were hungry because we still are. When I pressed my mouth under her jaw, she made the sound that always undoes me, the small yes that is quite language. She said my name into the room like a door code. I opened. Precision saves us from spectacle. We stopped before the part where stopping would be a lie. We lay long, shoulder to shoulder, a quiet I trusted, the kind that isn't avoidance but inventory. After a while she said, "I will miss the wrong rooms all my life." "I know," I said. "We can build right ones faster." For a week the house shifted its weight from foot to foot. We practiced saying, "Want," like it was homework. She told me when her body remembered the elevator smell of the Finch. I told her when jealousy flared useless and hot and asked for water. We fought once about limes. Then the phone rang on a Thursday, and I answered without looking and discovered politeness is a poor shield. "Daniel," the voice said, shaped by money and health. "I'm calling to apologize for the photograph you weren't supposed to see." "Rylan," I said, and he sighed softly, a man resigned to being himself. "The mirror," I added, to prove we were speaking the same language. "She's extraordinary," he said. "I wanted to be the version of me who doesn't ruin extraordinary things. I failed for 1 hour." "1 hour is when most damage happens," I said. "I know," he said, and that particular sadness in his tone surprised me. "Do you need me to be the villain loudly so you can hear the plot more clearly? I can be." "I need you to be gone," I said. "Leave her projects alone. Leave the Finch to people who deserve it. Leave me my room." "I'm good at exits," he said. "It's why people forgive me for entrances." "Practice elsewhere," I said, and hung up because some gestures only work if you don't rehearse them too many times. I told Alina. She leaned against the counter and looked out the window at a tree that keeps pretending it's evergreen. "Thank you," she said. Then, after a beat, "I don't want to be policed. I want to be chosen." "Then be impossible to resist," I said, and the grin that got us married arrived like a lamp turning on. We made a rule, truth before architecture. If the body wants weather, we say thunder and open a window. If the mind wants quiet, we say library and everything in us lowers its voice. We bought a cheap motel lamp from a thrift store, put it in the little second bedroom and called the room Now. It was ugly as salvation. On nights when the city kept its promises and our work didn't, we went into Now and pressed our foreheads together and spoke the words we would have said at a bar that wasn't ours. Some nights we kissed until the lamp looked expensive. Some nights we did nothing and still felt brave. I saw Rylan once in the wild, a gallery opening crusted with people who throw compliments like parties. He was alone, drink in hand, pretending to understand a painting that did not care about him. He saw me and offered a nod. Not reconciliation, not challenge, just mutual acknowledgement that a mirror can be a weapon or a teacher. I left without speaking. I am learning to choose the second. Months later, the Finch asked if I would retune the bar. On the site visit, I passed the bathroom where tile reflects flash unfairly. I stood and listened to the room's low noise, the sea's soft argument, distant glass, the inevitable hum of a building too pleased with itself. I turned the subwoofers down 2 decibels. I want people who make mistakes here to hear themselves sooner. At home, the photo is nowhere because deletion is a kind of prayer. Alina still leaves the laptop open sometimes, on purpose, with new drafts she's writing to clients whose money thinks it can curate more than product. I glance and close. Trust is not amnesia, it's muscle. It shakes and steadies. It grows in the direction you use it. On our fridge, we stuck a Polaroid taken badly in the mirror of our own bathroom. My arm, her shoulder, my mouth already smiling into her hair. No flash. You can see the ugly lamp from the Now room reflected behind us, stubborn and perfect. On the bottom she wrote in black marker, "Don't start without me." Sometimes she says it out loud and sometimes I do, and sometimes we surprise each other by not needing to. We aren't saints. We are two people who learned where to put the furniture so a room stops lying. On nights when we want to feel like beginning is possible, we take the train to the water and split a burger and kiss under a street lamp that makes everyone look like they've just made the right decision. On mornings when we only have time for coffee and a promise, she taps my chest twice and I press my palm to her back, a code we didn't write but earned. I still fix sounds for a living. She still makes rooms believable. And when our house hums with something neither of us likes, we turn toward it and listen until it resolves, not because we are brave, but because there is nothing else worth tuning.